Legendary frontmen walk out, and labels predict disaster. Managers scramble while fans prepare for the funeral. Then an unknown singer steps in and somehow saves everything. Here are 15 metal and hard rock bands saved by unknown replacements. Number 15, Black Sabbath. Sing me a song, you're a singer. Tony Iommi faced total collapse when Ozzy Osbourne's firing became official in April 1979. The guitarist needed a vocalist immediately, and Rainbow's Ronnie James Dio was technically available but far from a household name outside progressive rock circles. Dio had sung with Elf and spent 3 years with Ritchie Blackmore, yet American audiences barely recognized him. He joined Sabbath at 36 years old, and the chemistry proved immediate. Heaven and Hell arrived in April 1980 and sold over 3 million copies worldwide, while Neon Nights and Children of the Sea became instant classics. Devil is never a Dio's operatic power transformed Sabbath's doom-laden sound into something more dynamic, influencing Queensryche and Fates, warning for decades. Critics declared Sabbath finished without Ozzy, but Dio proved the doubters spectacularly wrong. Number 14, Iron Maiden. Steve Harris watched Paul Di'Anno's alcoholism destroy Iron Maiden's American momentum throughout 1981. The band needed a frontman who could handle arena-sized stages and marathon touring schedules. Bruce Dickinson had sung with Samson, a band that never cracked the top 40, making him virtually unknown to mainstream metal audiences. Harris took the gamble anyway, hiring the 23-year-old in September 1981. The Number of the Beast dropped in March 1982 and changed everything. The album hit number 1 in the UK, while selling over 14 million copies worldwide. Dickinson's operatic range on Hallowed Be Thy Name, Run to the Hills, and Children of the Damned became the template for power metal vocals. Bands from Helloween to Blind Guardian cite this album as their blueprint. Di'Anno had charisma, but Dickinson had the voice that built an empire. Number 13, Judas Priest. Rob Halford's departure in July 1992 left Judas Priest without their iconic metal god. The band auditioned hundreds of singers before discovering Tim "Ripper" Owens working at a coffee shop in Akron, Ohio, performing in a Priest tribute band called British Steel. Owens was 29 years old, completely unknown, and suddenly fronting one of metal's most legendary acts. Jugulator arrived in October 1997 with Owens delivering brutal vocals that pushed Priest into heavier territory. The album debuted at number 82 on the Billboard 200, while tracks like Bullet Train and Bloodstained showcased his range. Metal purists initially rejected anyone replacing Halford, yet Owens won converts through relentless touring and genuine passion. His story later inspired the 2001 film Rock Star, starring Mark Wahlberg. Ripper never replaced Halford's legacy, but he kept Priest alive when extinction seemed certain. Before we continue with number 12, I want to hear from you. Which unknown replacement singer surprised you the most when they joined a legendary band? Drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. We have people tuning in from all over the world. Number 12, Ozzy Osbourne. Randy Rhoads died in a plane crash on March 19, 1982, and Ozzy Osbourne's solo career faced immediate cancellation. The remaining tour dates needed a guitarist who could replicate Randy's neoclassical technique on zero notice. Bernie Tormé filled in temporarily, but the permanent solution came from an unexpected source. Brad Gillis had played with Night Ranger, a band that wouldn't release their debut until later that year, making him effectively unknown. Gillis joined at 24 years old and helped complete the Speak of the Devil live album released in November 1982. His whammy bar style differed completely from Rhodes, yet he held the band together during their darkest period. Night Ranger later achieved mainstream success with Sister Christian, but Gillis saved Ozzy first. Jakey Lee eventually took over, but Gillis bridged an impossible gap when the whole operation nearly collapsed. Number 11. D.I.O. Vivian Campbell's firing in 1986 forced Ronnie James Dio to find a guitarist who could match the neoclassical shred established on Holy Diver and The Last in Line. Craig Goldie had briefly played with Jufria, a band that achieved modest success with their self-titled debut, but remained largely unknown outside AOR circles. Goldie was 24 when he stepped into Campbell's considerable shoes. Dream Evil arrived in July 1987, with Goldie's playing anchoring tracks like I Could Have Been a Dreamer and the title track. The album reached number 8 in the UK and sold respectably in America, despite MTV's declining interest in traditional metal. Goldie's technical precision and melodic sensibility gave Dio a fresh sound without abandoning their established formula. He departed after the album, but returned multiple times over. Subsequent decades becoming the guitarist most associated with Dio outside of Campbell himself. Number 10. ACDC. Bon Scott's death on February 19, 1980, should have ended AC/DC permanently. The Australian band had just achieved international breakthrough with Highway to Hell, and losing their charismatic frontman seemed insurmountable. Brian Johnson had sung with Geordie, a British glam rock band that achieved minor UK success in the early 70s before fading into complete obscurity. Johnson was 32 years old and working irregular gigs when the call came. Back in Black released in July 1980 and became the second best-selling album in history, moving over 50 million copies worldwide. Johnson's raspy howl on You Shook Me All Night Long, Hell's Bells, and the title track proved he could match Scott's raw energy while bringing his own identity. Critics expected a disaster. Instead, they witnessed one of rock's greatest comebacks. Johnson transformed from forgotten pub singer to arena rock legend in 6 months, proving lightning could strike twice for the Young Brothers. What's your take? Which AC/DC era do you prefer, Bon Scott or Brian Johnson? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's continue. Number 9. Anthrax. Joey Belladonna's firing in January 1992 left Anthrax scrambling during thrash metal's commercial decline. The band recruited John Bush from Armored Saint, a group that achieved cult status but never mainstream breakthrough despite strong albums like March of the Saint and Raising Fear. Bush was 29 and brought a completely different vocal approach than Belladonna's high-pitched style. Sound of White Noise arrived in May 1993 and debuted at number 7 on the Billboard 200, their highest chart position ever. Bush's grittier delivery on Only, Black Lodge, and Pottersfield attracted alternative metal audiences while satisfying longtime fans. Producer Dave Jordan gave the album a modern sound that connected with the post-grunge landscape. Bush fronted Anthrax for over a decade across 4 studio albums. Purists demanded Belladonna's return, but Bush proved Anthrax could evolve without sacrificing heaviness. Number 8. Motörhead. Fast Eddie Clarke departed Motörhead in May 1982, leaving Lemmy Kilmister without his trademark guitar partnership. The replacement came from an unlikely source. Brian Robertson had played with Thin Lizzy during their commercial peak, but struggled with substance issues and inconsistent work throughout the early 80s. Robertson was 26 and needed the gig as much as Motörhead needed a guitarist. Another Perfect Day released in June 1983 with Robertson's melodic sensibility creating Motörhead's most divisive album. Tracks like Shine and I Got Mine featured guitar harmonies that divided the fan base completely. The album reached number 20 in the UK, but confused audiences expecting pure sonic brutality. Robertson lasted only one album before departing, yet his brief tenure proved Motörhead could incorporate different styles without losing their identity entirely. Phil Campbell later stabilized the guitar position for 3 decades, but Robertson showed flexibility first. Number 7. Megadeth. Nick Menza's departure, following emergency knee surgery in 1998, forced Dave Mustaine to find a drummer who could handle Megadeth's technical complexity on short notice. Jimmy DeGrasso had played with Suicidal Tendencies and Alice Cooper, but remained largely unknown to mainstream metal audiences despite his session credentials. You try to take his DeGrasso was 35 when he joined during the Risk era. The World Needs a Hero arrived in May 2001, with DeGrasso providing steady percussion across tracks like Moto Psycho and Disconnect. The album received mixed reviews, but proved Megadeth could maintain their technical standards without Menza's powerful playing. DeGrasso's professional reliability helped stabilize a constantly rotating lineup during one of the band's most turbulent periods. Sean Drover eventually replaced him in 2004, but DeGrasso bridged the gap when Megadeth's future seemed uncertain following Mustaine's arm injury and the band's temporary disbandment. Let's pause for a second. We've covered legends who found unknown saviors at their lowest points. What's the most underrated replacement musician in metal history? Comment below. Let's keep going. Number 6. Deep Purple. Ian Gillan's departure in June 1973, after tensions during the Who Do We Think We Are sessions left Deep Purple needing a frontman immediately. David Coverdale had sung with local bands in Saltburn by the Sea, a small English seaside town, and possessed zero professional recording experience. He was 22 years old when Ritchie Blackmore heard his audition tape and demanded his hiring. Burn arrived in February 1974 with Coverdale's bluesy howl, transforming tracks like Mistreated and the scorching title track. The album reached number 3 in the UK and number 9 in America while selling over 1 million copies domestically. Coverdale proved he could command stages despite his inexperience, and his partnership with bassist Glenn Hughes created a soulful dimension Purple never possessed previously. He later founded Whitesnake and achieved massive solo success, but Deep Purple gave him the platform first, from unknown pub singer to rock royalty in under a year. Number 5. Accept. Udo Dirkschneider's departure in 1987 left Accept without their instantly recognizable voice. The German band recruited David Reese from an obscure American band, a singer completely unknown in European metal circles. Reese was 26 and faced the impossible task of replacing one of metal's most distinctive vocalists for a band that had achieved gold status with Balls to the Wall. Eat the Heat arrived in 1989 with Reese delivering a more melodic approach on tracks like Generation Clash and XTC. The album divided fans completely, but reached respectable chart positions in Germany and Japan. Reese's American rock sensibility clashed with Accept's Teutonic precision, yet the album proved the band could exist beyond Udo's shadow. Dirkschneider returned in 1992, but Reese demonstrated Accept's songs could work with different vocal interpretations during a transitional period for European metal. Number 4. Dokken. Don Dokken's tumultuous relationship with guitarist George Lynch reached breaking point in 1989, but the bigger crisis came when drummer Mick Brown and bassist Jeff Pilson departed shortly after. The reunited 1990s lineup needed fresh blood, and Reb Beach's departure from Winger made him available, but hardly unknown. The truly obscure addition was drummer Mickey D, who had played with King Diamond but lacked mainstream recognition. Shadow Life released in 1997 with D's powerful drumming anchoring tracks like Puppet on a String. The album sold modestly, but kept Dokken active when most glamour bands had completely disappeared. D later joined Motörhead and became legendary in his own right, but Dokken gave him crucial exposure to American audiences first. Beach's guitar work provided technical credibility that matched Lynch's legacy without imitating it. Both players saved Dokken from becoming a pure nostalgia act during metal's least commercial decade. Number 3. Quiet Riot. Kevin Dubrow's tragic death from cocaine overdose on November 25, 2007, devastated Quiet Riot completely. Drummer Frankie Banali eventually continued the band with various unknown vocalists, but the crucial replacement came earlier when Dubrow was fired in 1987. Yesterday is gone. Paul Shortino from Rough Cut stepped in, a singer known only to underground metal collectors despite his powerful range. QR3 had already disappointed commercially before Dubrow's firing, and Shortino's tenure produced no studio albums. However, he kept Quiet Riot touring when the original lineup imploded, maintaining their concert presence during the late 80s. Shortino later achieved recognition through various projects, but his willingness to front Quiet Riot during their lowest commercial period preserved the band's name for eventual reunions. Banali's determination kept the legacy alive for decades, proving Quiet Riot transcended any single personality despite Dubrow's irreplaceable charisma. Quick question, which forgotten replacement singer deserves more recognition for saving a legendary band? Tell me in the comments. Let's continue. Number 2, Rainbow. Ronnie James. Dio's departure for Black Sabbath in 1979 forced Ritchie Blackmore to reimagine Rainbow entirely. Graham Bonnet had achieved moderate success with the Marbles in the late 60s, scoring one UK hit with Only One Woman, but remained virtually unknown to hard rock audiences by 1979. Blackmore recruited the 31-year-old singer despite his lack of metal credentials. Down to Earth arrived in July 1979 with Bonnet's powerful voice driving Since You've Been Gone and All night long to commercial success. The album reached number 6 in the UK, while both singles cracked the top 10. Bonnet's clean vocal style differed completely from Dio's operatic approach, yet he delivered Rainbow's most commercially successful material. His tenure lasted only one album before Joe Lynn Turner took over, but Bonnet proved Rainbow could thrive with radically different vocalists. He later influenced countless hard rock singers through his work with Alcatraz and Michael Schenker. Number 1, Skid Row. Sebastian Bach's firing in 1996 left Skid Row without their magnetic frontman during rock's least hospitable era. The band cycled through replacements before discovering Johnny Solinger, a Texas singer playing clubs in the Dallas-Fort Worth area with zero national profile. Solinger was 31 years old and had never recorded a major label album when he joined in 1999. Thickskin arrived in August 2003 with Solinger's raspy vocals carrying tracks like Ghost and Swallow Me. The album sold modestly, but proved Skid Row could release new material 7 years after their commercial peak had passed. Solinger fronted the band for 15 years across thousands of shows, maintaining their touring presence when most 80s bands had completely vanished. Bach achieved solo visibility and Broadway success, making Skid Row's survival even more remarkable. Solinger passed away from liver failure in June 2021 at age 55, but his dedication preserved Skid Row through rock's darkest commercial period. The unknown replacement outlasted everyone's expectations.